This show is made by the community for the community, and as such, any of its opinions expressed in tonight's show are not affiliated with Altspace in any way. I do not believe this is a mature audience-only event, though I could be wrong. We ask that you please stay muted the entire time unless you have a question you would like to ask. As such, please welcome your host, Sad Gamer Dad.
Yeah. Alright, now people, come on, it's here, excuse me, Mikey. Woo! My dance must go. Alright. Yeah! Alright, so, thank you everybody. I'm going to get in everyone's ear right now. Can you guys hear me? I'm in your ear. I'm like a cold. I'm like the virus. Yeah. I'm the influenza. That is Berlin, freaking Germany. Awesome. These guys are in Berlin, Germany, and we're going to hear all about their amazing game, which I want you all to go out and share on social media. Go follow these guys. I'll give you their Twitter, or I'll get them to give you their Twitter, their Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter, @SadGamerDad. My purpose, my mission for you guys is to get everyone interested in coming and learning what Altspace is, breaking down those barriers that exist between people who don't know what social VR is about, people who don't know what VR gaming is about. So enough blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the cool stuff. Let's get to my co-host, my buddy, my bro from another Mo. He's over here on the platform to the right of me. Let's hear it off for Just John. Woo!
Hey!
Woo!
Hey!
Mad props for Just John. Start a new segment that I want to get to this season called "What's John Playing?" So let's find out from our buddy Just John what he's been playing this week in VR, because he plays lots of games and puts lots of hours in. So what have you been playing this week, John?
I've been playing I've been digging back into Echo Arena recently, but I haven't had a chance to dig in with you yet.
Yes, I'm level 2, guys. I got in there to record a video for the Hive. You guys remember that? Just come out to the Hive. And I was level 2, and I get in there, and John's like, 50 or something. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm so freaking pleased to have these guys on here. When I played this game, I didn't know what to expect. I came in cold. I saw it was Outrun, and how many old guys like me remember Outrun? The old title from Sega, right? In the arcades. You go up there and you go all play, and you played on your Sega, and it was freaking awesome. So this is the developer of Neon Seoul Outrun, which you can find on Oculus and on Steam. And I'm so pleased to introduce our guest, and let me make sure I get this right, the director of the studio, creative director, PJ.
Yeah, just studio director, so I kind of look after
studio director.
And, yeah.
PJ, and how do you pronounce your last name? Because I don't want to screw it up.
Estevez.
PJ Estevez, the director of the studio, and community manager Tim Loftis. All right, so yeah, let's give it up. Let's see some emojis for these guys. Woo! I'm dying to know what's your history, how you got in Berlin, that sort of thing. Can anyone speak to that?
Yeah. So basically. The core of us are ex-Crytek guys, actually. So we started with, obviously other people, the whole VR kind of part of Crytek back in the day. And my first game in VR as a creative director was The Climb. So
what? The Climb?
Very
oh
good
my
kind
gosh.
of yeah. So we did
Let me
The
go
Climb
fanboy
and
over here for a
Robinson
second.
Journey.
Excuse me.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, it was it was time to kind of move on and start our own thing up. So we said, okay, I come from a typical game development background. Some time at Sony Online, a little bit of time at Microsoft, and I ended up at Crytek. Long story short, and after working on some console titles, like, okay, let's try something different.
Sure.
And we're asked to put together a game, so we started working on like Robinson the Journey, and actually from that's where The Climb came out of, because we were doing a lot of R&D into mechanics on how to move around the world. And this, you mentioned, Echo Arena, and I definitely think, you see kind of a second generation of game, on like a lot of the stuff that we prototyped. You said, wow, they really did something amazing with that kind of, really simple climbing mechanic. And, when we decided to do our own thing, we said, hey, you know what, how could we innovate on something small? Because, obviously being a small startup in Berlin, we don't have as many people as we did at Crytek. But we said we still want to show something that had, a real quality to, how we approach VR. And yeah, we're super happy about it. I mean, we got a comfortable rating for a, VR, kind of fast paced racing game, which anyone who knows VR, that comfortable rating really kind of, it's kind of a badge of honor to have that. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we got started. And we built together a team of like, guys we like hanging out with as much as we like making games with. So yeah, this is how we kind of got started. And I think officially we've been together, like, let's say the whole team since about January. But yeah, we're also working on another kind of, let's say, more high-end title called Shaman Spirit Hunter. So that one was announced a little while ago. But this is, the Neon Seoul Outrun is really just about, taking a single mechanic and trying to find something like really interesting with it and having it be polished and just enjoyable. So this is like, that was just the first release. Obviously, we're still in early access. So we have a couple more cool releases coming in the next weeks. So Tim, if you had anything to say or...
Yeah, actually the next thing, if you guys are curious, the next thing coming up is a story mode. So it's going to be story missions where you're going to find out more about the world of Neon Seoul and more about the character I play in the game, Coach Kincaid.
Yes, let's give it up for Coach Kincaid. Yeah, Tim is Coach Kincaid. He is in the game. How awesome is that?
That is so much fun. It is really a lot
Coach
of fun.
Kincaid is a blast. Yeah, I mean, Tim could probably tell you how we came up with Coach Kincaid.
Let's talk about the influence for Outrun. Was it influenced from the old Sega game, the Neon Seoul? Was that whole world? Who came up with the idea?
Yeah, I mean,
let's
definitely.
do this.
So I mean, the kind of, let's say where like the idea really first began was, we said, we love this aesthetic, right? It's called the this Outrun aesthetic, and
I love the neon. In case you can't.
Yeah, exactly, and I think there were a lot of kind of titles coming out that like had a really interesting take on it, and we're like, yeah, this is really something that, also being a child of the '80s, you look back and you said, man, like, how cool was that, right? Like, seriously, I mean, like with Knight Rider and talking cars, and it's just this crazy, this crazy kind of time period. But we said, we want to build a universe. We don't want to just build one game in this kind of universe. So the first decision was like, well, what do we want to do first? And we said, definitely this kind of like, racer like aesthetic.
Arcade in the world.
Arcadey, right? You remember like, Outrun and looking at the graphics back then. You had to put all the imagination into like, how cool it was. So yeah, definitely an inspiration from Outrun, as well as other, titles that came out after that, like Wipeout, right, is another
yeah, any Wipeout fans? That's a later one.
F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, remember that?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Heck, yeah, can you guys talk about how that works? The sense of speed? Yeah, we got to harken back to the Nintendo days. Speak of that, it's still in our heads.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how that came about and how that works?
Well, I'm going to hand that one over to PJ. He's the one that really was the visionary behind it.
Yeah, the controls being just the headset. That's you have to have? I've been playing. You'll see in my video without any controls. I'm just using my whole body. Was that the intention of the design? So you could really lean into it because it works you out. It works out your entire upper body. I was sore last night after playing for about an hour.
So actually, like there's a couple things. Is we were actually inspired by a YouTube video of this guy called Ghost Rider, and he was this guy that crazy dude, and he drove through Sweden at like basically like 165 miles an hour, something crazy on his motor. So
don't do that, kids.
Don't do it. That's why we have VR.
Don't do that, kiddos. In VR, you can do it. It's okay. In Outrun, you can do it.
And so basically, he recorded some videos, and he had like a GoPro camera or something like that, and we're like, that is crazy. Like, and a lot of our thinking also, that led to the climb was like, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to climb a mountain this tall, but why not experience it in VR? That could be something interesting. And,
Yeah.
Even though I like riding bikes, I don't think I'll ever go 1,000 kilometers an hour, right, in my lifetime. It's too crazy. So we said, that's the heart of what we should try to do. And we matched it with this really cool aesthetic. And that was kind of, the early kind of point. And to be honest, a huge part of the design challenge is how to read a world going at 1,000 kilometers an hour. So, I mean, we're still working on that, actually, if we're being honest, right? Like, it's crazy.
And it doesn't.
The game is,
it's
the
so
game is still in
smooth.
early access. Yeah, it's still in early access. We kind of went with this more or less very clean look to it. So as you're driving through, you'll be able to see the road signs. Yeah, and you'll be able to actually
coming
see,
at you, but you can see everything. That's what's cool. Yeah, you see everything around you. You feel really immersed in the environment, even though you're going up to 1,000 kilometers an hour. It's now. I found myself just kind of looking around, like, man, this is really cool. It's like when you have that moment in time that's frozen, but you can still look around you.
And as you're driving, you'll even notice that the cars, they'll turn on their blinkers if they're about to merge.
Yes.
So it kind of gives you a bit of a warning.
I do. There's always that one that always cuts me off, and I slam into it, and jerk out of the way, and I jerk my whole body. It's probably like going to pull a muscle or something. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Going at Mach 10, I guess it's a little bit difficult to avoid some of those turns.
Yeah,
it's insane. And if you read the comments on reviews, that's what people say is the sense of speed is really just crazy. It's awesome. It really is.
Yes,
you got to experience it.
In Germany, we have the Autobahn, right? So it's really typical to drive fast if you want to.
There we go. Yeah, John, the Autobahn. You got to go fast over there, right?
Yeah.
Get ran over.
So what we said is like, all right, well, if it feels like driving on the Autobahn, then we're pretty close to the feeling that we want. And yeah, we think we landed pretty close. We still have some things we want to improve over the next weeks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, as Tim said, going into early access, a huge part of it was like, can we develop a game in a different way than, kind of, let's say we worked on it for 6 months and then released it or something like that. We said, hey, let's get the core mechanic feeling really good, really sticky. We're happy to play test it, in the office. Let's put it out there and see how other people feel about it. And we think like, hey, this is a great first step. And we want to, kind of with the help of the community, I guess, push it even further, so
push it out there for more folks to play it.
That is.
So do either of you ride a bike? Do you guys ride a bike to the office? Does it give you practice for getting in and out of the Berlin traffic?
Well, I ride a bicycle, but not a motorcycle yet. But just to go back to what PJ was saying, with the community aspect, we are totally open to hear all of your guys' feedback. We want to hear what you want to see in the game. Different play modes, maybe different vehicle types, upgrades, anything you guys want to see. Come on over to our Facebook page and give us a shout out. We're really receptive to that.
Yeah, we are looking at it.
Awesome.
I mean, I think we had somebody that said to us, it's like they want heavy metal mode, right? They don't.
Yes.
It's like let's do kind of. Yeah, let's do Eddie from Iron Maiden, or something like that, or the mountains of
burning mode,
Valhalla or something. I mean, we've got a super senior team. And we're receptive. Yeah, exactly. Run to the hills.
Exactly. Right?
Run for your life.
You guys get me. That's awesome.
Right on.
So let's talk about the community aspect. So you guys Tim just recently posted a video. Tim's posting regular videos as Coach Kincaid, updating the community of Neon Seoul Outrun as to things that are going on, high scores that are happening. And someone just did something really special, and you did something really special in the game. So you want to talk about what that was, Tim?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a player. His name is John Lockie. You'll see him every time. If you're playing on Oculus, you'll see him on the Oculus leaderboards. If you're on Steam, you won't see him because it's pointing to different leaderboards. But I digress. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see every Friday we're posting leaderboard updates, which is global leaderboards. So John Lockie is this insane rider. He is the first and only so far outrunner or person who plays Neon Seoul Outrun to hit over 1 million points.
1 million.
It's
insane, guys.
Yeah.
You're going to see him a video here in a minute. I'm going to show the how to play basics. And I spent an hour last night playing straight and the best I could do is 59,000. No, if
We
I
thought
was
he was
20 years
cheating.
younger, I could
We
probably
thought he
double
was
that,
cheating.
you know. But
You know?
I talked to my wife. She's like, he must be a dancer that he can just move so quickly like that. And I don't know what the guy does for a living, but I can tell you for sure that he is he's phenomenal at this game. And so we noticed that ourselves, and we thought, hey, you know what? Let's acknowledge that, and let's make that a challenge for everybody else. So now, if you play the game on Oculus or Steam or even Viveport, we're now on Viveport as well. If you play it on there, and if you get 1,000,000 points, the new achievement is the John Lockie Award for 1,000,000 points. How awesome is that, guys?
how cool is that? He had an achievement out of me. I was hoping John Lockie, by some miracle of VR, would show up in the audience and he'd come up here and be like, we'd bow to them. John Lockie, you rule, man.
Yes. And
That's
John, if
awesome.
you're out there, just wave to us.
Yes. John, you flipping rock, kiddo. That's awesome.
Salute to John.
All right, so let's talk about the your updates. How soon can we expect some updates, and what do you guys got cooking for Neon Seoul?
Well, the next thing's coming up right now. Based off of user feedback, we want to get people a little bit more onboarded easily into the game. That means, give them a little bit of instructions on how to steer the bike. Some objective-based stuff. Just make getting into the game easier. For example, if you see the first video that you created, Sad Gamer Dad, getting in felt like a little bit like you're being thrown in there without any instruction. And well, after talking to our fans, we realized, they would appreciate a little bit more help getting started. So that's the first thing. We want to make sure people are enjoying themselves.
Okay. All right. Well,
Then
that's a good segue to the video. Go ahead. You got a little more. Go tell us.
Yeah. And then
more.
after that, of course, we have more play modes. We're going to have the story mode, and there's a video that we dropped on New Year's, which even mentions multiplayer. Which we're not going to get into a whole bunch on how that's going to work, but I wanted to let you guys know, yes, you can expect in the future a form of multiplayer to appear in Neon Seoul Outrun. How awesome is that?
I can try to take on John Lockie. No way. No way. Never. That's crazy. It's crazy talk.
Let's take a look at that video of yours.
All right, so let's watch this video. This is a short 2-minute video I did last night of how to play, the basics of what you can expect when you dive in. So let's go to look at it, and you may end up, anyone has problems, just reload the room. You may have to do that to get your video player that is unique to each and every one of you. So let me get it loaded up here.
Quick question, Tim. Will the game be available for Gear VR?
For Gear VR,
Neon Seoul Outrun, and we'll see how high of a score I can get. So I'm going to instruct you guys. Okay, it's playing. What we do is we come in the lobby. Here's Coach Kincaid with the highest scores. And the first thing you're going to do is jump on your bike. As you can see, here's the bike. There will be a bike shop coming soon, guys, so stay tuned. Let's dive in and check this out. Start the game. Most important thing you can do is calibrate your seat position so you're not too far or too short off the ground so you can see down in front of you. I've got mine calibrated just about right, as you can see. You get to see yourself as a head moving around. You don't need touch controls really for this. I really like this, by the way. The head, the body. Some handles here. Awesome.
Yeah, that was one improvement we
right
made so
in,
people
start
could
the game.
see their presence and really get a
give you
sense
some
of how
tips.
big they were in the world.
Lean forward immediately. Avoid stuff. Make smooth turns. I like to push off with my legs. Just like I'm getting a sense of speed just off the flat screen. Now, lean back and move your head physically backwards. It slows the bike down. So then
I
you
also
can avoid the
steer with my legs,
cars.
by the way.
So that's my
You can
best
put a fan in front.
advice. Avoid the cars. You've got shields that will deplete. This will give you some killer quads, guys, if you steer with legs like I'm doing that too. Avoid the drone. The police drone will try to get you within 5 seconds of getting within the proximity. Oh, see, that took my shield down. I've got to recharge. So try to hit the recharge points. Try to burst through traffic when you can. Look forward.
It's so fast.
We get a lot of traffic.
Man, I love the soundtrack
There's
even
the
today.
cops.
Like, after hearing it a
Try to lean
thousand
forward
times.
when the cops get near you. So just a lot of speed. Boom! Leave his ass in the dust. Woo! Oh, there's a car. Come over that hill. We gotta recharge our shields. We're done. We gotta recharge desperately.
I think it's the Imagine, the psychosomatic effect.
Shot real time, I guess.
Oh my god, you got
All right, so 21,092. You see my high score
It's the first time you do it, it's quite
The high score is $1 million. John Lockie. I said $1 million. You got an achievement. You guys won't be giving out any money.
We need to make a, surfer soundtrack, like.
Outrun.
Now I'm assuming this is the preferred method for
Take that
people
one of the
with
vehicles.
balances.
That'll be awesome.
Actually, I could see.
I guess,
I
yeah.
could see them using this for people with
We
that.
have the screens themed bike. We kind of got that curve look going on in here. All right, I saw someone over here in the corner. Richard, did you have a question for a guest?
Yeah, quick question. As for multiplayer, will you have cops versus bikers by any chance? Like one team be cops and one team be bikers?
Ah,
Like
cops
one
and
team
robbers.
have to ram each other
Pretty
over?
Cool suggestion. There.
That's a really cool suggestion, yeah.
And these
You
are the
actually
kind of
have
things that
bike
we'd like
cops
to
in
hear
the
from
city
you
over there.
because the players of our game are going to
Yeah,
be
let's get some
leading
emojis for that.
or getting the suggestions out there for us. We're going to be taking those suggestions and working directly with you all to get things just like that in there. So your question was, is there going to be? I cannot answer that completely, but I can say if you and the other Outrunners want it, that's definitely something we will do. Much better.
So I was thinking, what about a sort of a competitive mode of like a last person standing type thing? Maybe four bikes go in, and then whoever wins is the last person to crash or get taken away.
4 bikes enter, 1 bike leaves.
Not
That's
necessarily
really
the
cool,
highest
too.
score, just the longest will last.
I really like this idea that, you could have multiple people on one track. And I think our biggest kind of question when we even talk about this stuff internally is like, okay, what is sort of the heart and soul of this game? And will adding these mechanics mean a different game, or should we spend more time iterating more on the heart and soul? So I could see like 4 people in a track where it is just about speed. Maybe there's some bumping and grinding allowed, but like last man standing, maybe actually you create traffic by hitting a car or something like that, right? So that's really not a lot of development time for us. And I think it also is just cool. Like who doesn't want to race against, but as Tim mentioned, we have to kind of pick one and focus on it and to really put out the best experience. But I mean, definitely just we gotta get away in Facebook for people to just be like, hey, add your cool game mode ideas and send us a quick video of like these things with a little bit more detail on how you feel it should like be in the game. So
Yes.
I'm definitely open to hearing that kind of stuff. This is great.
It all starts with a
Good stuff.
conversation. If you go to facebook.com/neonsoulvr, you can leave us a comment. Please, actually,
Neon Seoul
even best to start off the conversation by a comment. That way other people can chime in and they can give their ideas and we can kind of work things out together as a community. Of course, though, we're always welcome to private messages too, so don't hesitate to send those out if you don't feel like voicing your opinion in the open air.
Maybe you give us a little Coach Kincaid pep talk is where they can send stuff on Facebook or somewhere.
Well, Rook, if you come on down to Neon Seoul VR on Facebook, I'm personally going to come and give you a piece of my mind, Rook.
All right. Coach Kincaid, let's hear emojis for Coach Kincaid.
Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Let's hear it. Woo! Yeah.
I'm afraid I can't allow another John to beat me, so
And John will defeat me wholeheartedly in everything he plays.
Let's party!
Can I also start one final question?
You know,
Here.
all right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and man, take care.